This is the Sky Prank amusement park.
Really, Gigi?
I didn't know that I had lost my way. Thought everything was gonna be okay, but life was empty. I filled it up and carried on. The pain kept coming, I was going down. I held so tight, kept falling to the ground. I knew I had to change, I knew I had to let it go. And now I found a better way to wash the ego pain away. And then I found the words to say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. I feel so free, remember every day, the moment all the pain was washed away. I shine so bright now, and I want everyone to know. You've got this living deep inside you too, and it's so easy just to feel brand new. Commit surrender to your divinity within. And then you'll see a better way. Things you don't need will fall away. Your eyes will open and you'll say, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. Oh, I am divine, I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine.
So we got one person in the waiting room, let him in. Sorry about that. Got my little pink water bottle. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. How are we all doing today? Welcome, JR. Michael, Powell, Stefan, Barbara. Thank you all for spending your Sunday morning with us, or I should say Sunday rising, because we don't mourn. Sub SCH. All right, we got a couple of people in the waiting room, so if you let them in. Woo. So it's been an interesting day. We got some cool things to show you today. We gave you a little sneak peek yesterday, or I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before, but we got some new developments we're going to show you today, and we'll continue to show you them as they roll out. But first things first, because we are streaming on a couple of different platforms, I just want to continue to figure out where our audience is calling in from. If you could just let me know where you are calling in from. We got some more people in the waiting room. Okay, awesome. Ooh, Zoom. Okay, Powell's from Sweden, Zoom. Michael, Colorado Springs. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever, also please drop your location. Oh, Dagmar's from Cambridge, Ontario. Awesome. Cool. Beautiful. So for the people Powell's from the Cosmos, I feel you, bro. I feel you. So for the returning people or the people that have already gone through the I Am Divinity process, how was doing your divine focus? And any cool updates you want to share before I get started? I got some interesting things to share with you. If you want to share, either just unmute your mic or raise your hand or whatever. One day I will. Well, maybe today's day one for you, Powell. You want to share?
Yeah, Powell.
Well, I'll share. Okay, so I woke up this morning and I had the crazy dream. I had like these four guys, these four men. Oh, he says I have to land. Okay, no worries. So I had these four guys and they had guns and they were just shooting me, or they're shooting at me. And I started doing some crazy matrix moves and I started like defying gravity, and it was really crazy because like my legs would like wrap around the gun and I was like kind of spinning, and like every time they would shoot, like the bullet would completely like miss me. And I woke up and like, holy moly, that was like a really vivid dream. Like I actually, like, for the last like 12 years, I don't really remember, well, I hadn't remembered a lot of my dreams. And I think that has to do with like utilizing marijuana for sleep, or at least that's how I kind of framed it in my mind. Um, and so yeah, I woke up and I was like, wow, that was a really interesting dream. And yeah, just it's just crazy. Like the dreams have been super vivid, and I know like Gilbert was talking about his dreams yesterday with like the lions and like the guys with the guns and all that stuff. And then I had something else that happened. One of the guys, he did the process. He's from Romania. He had such a huge breakthrough, and he's like, dude, like I've never felt this amazing. Well, he messaged me today and he's like, have you ever seen The Passion of the Christ? I'm like, yeah, I have. It's been like 10 plus years. And he goes to try to convince me to saying how he believes that the ego is important, like all things need to be in balance, blah, 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 blah. And then he's talking about how Jesus was like a pure being full of light and that he wants to get to that level. I'm like, well, don't you see kind of like what you're saying? It's kind of like the opposite, right? You're saying that you should be in balance with your ego and you want to be like Jesus, but he was a pure being without the ego. I'm like, kind of like questioning him, and he actually ended up shifting back, which is really cool to see. So yeah, super interesting. Ego's gonna try every single way to get you out of your light, out of your divinity. And that's why the divine focus is so important. The way that I've been viewing the divine focus is it's almost like creating like an impenetrable light bubble around you, right? Like the longer you do it, the stronger it gets, the thicker it gets, the strong, and then the ego is not going to have really much of a chance. But if you miss it, which every single time I've missed it, it's just been so much easier for the ego to try to trick me. And it just like it just like kind of slides in there so sneakily and just kind of gets you, just even if it's like one little degree off, right? That 1 degree takes you to a whole different place. You might even think that you're still in your divinity, but it's just shifted you a tiny bit and it takes you to a whole different like place. So the divine focus is so important. Hope you guys are continuing to do it and just be in it. Yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna introduce Jamie. We have some other things that we're gonna be talking about as far as like the website and how that is looking. I'll give you guys a little bit more of an in-depth view on how that is and all the different functionalities. It's not like quite there yet. We're just needing to shift a couple of things, but stay tuned till the end. We will definitely have that done ASAP. The affiliate portals also done. We'll talk about that later. Michael's asking, is the last transformation recording link available? I would like to repeat. So it is available, but what we're going to do is that's going to be in the membership portal. And so you'll get access to that here in the next couple of days, hopefully sooner. So actually, before I bring on Jamie, for all the people that are first time just watching this, first time on our live streams, I'm sure, you know, a lot of our networks, for myself personally, and for all the people here, maybe you guys have shared the stream. I'm sure that you guys probably have been searching in different places, in different industries, whether it's a personal development space, whether it's spirituality, whatever it might be. You've been searching for something, whether it's religion, you know. And what I want you to know is that here at I Am Divinity, what we do and what we focus on is helping you ditch these beliefs, whether they're negative or positive, and help you get to a place of complete knowing of who you truly are, which is a divine light. And so if you've been searching, what I want you to know is that your search is over.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Don Smith. That's Don with 2 N's. And I'm here to share with you what I've developed over 44 years that I call I Am Divinity. I say that I Am Divinity because I'm divine and so are you. No matter what you've done and what you haven't done, you are divine, you always were and you always will be. And it gets all covered up. And so all of those trips to the personal developments and all of those things, and they don't hold, and did you ever question yourself? Instead of just going back and getting the next one and the next one and the next one and none of them hold? Well, there's a reason for that. A very big reason is because you're working at a belief level of who you think you are. That's what beliefs are, both negative and positive. They're who we think we are. So going from a negative belief to a positive belief is not the answer whatsoever. It's about the knowing of who we truly are. There's knowing. It isn't a belief. And so all of these ideas of doing this and all of those trips to the wherevers, it's like dealing with a piece of something. But this is not a piece of anything. This is the total knowing of who you are. And what I've developed over this 44 years is a process that's instant and it's permanent. Now, the permanent comes in by you doing something for holding it. But I'm telling you, there's people have this for years, and it's instant. And how do I say that with such boldness? Well, put it in the category of a phobia. 90% of the population has a phobia of something. Bugs, snakes, rats, heights, water, whatever. And my question to you is, how long did it take for you to create that phobia? Yes, you're right. 1 instant. And yet everybody questions me about that. And yet that's all it took. 1 instant. So now What I did was I reverse engineered near-death experiences and phobias to find out how they worked, and I reverse engineered it. So if you can create a phobia in a second, and most times it's before the age of reason, which is 4, 5, 6. Think about that. At that young of an age, that in 1 second you created a lifetime phobia. Well, it's a lifetime phobia because you're holding on to it for protection. That's how the ego works. It's going to get you to hold on to something that's harmful for you so it can keep you aware in case it happens again. That's how toxic your ego is. And it's not your ego, it's the ego. Sorry, my mistake. Because you are much more than an ego. And so what it's about is if you create it in a second, why would it take any longer than a second to reverse it if you knew how you did it? That's what I do. That's one of the pieces. And then the other is the permanentness of it all. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. What color are your eyes? What color are those eyes of yours? Now you tell me how long you had that color. Yeah, your whole life. That's permanent. Would you agree? But look at the permanentness of a phobia. You had it from age 4 to 84. That's 80 years. You'd think that was permanent. But it was created in a second, and you can reverse it in a second. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're talking about. Something that's instant, something that's permanent, and it's about who you truly are. Your divinity, your divine. Don't ever forget it. Always remember it. And all of these other things are happening because you have an attachment to the personal development system of beliefs and changing a belief from a negative to a positive. It's not going to hold. It will not hold. Yes, there will be improvements. Congratulations on doing that. That's searching. I'm talking about a shift from this to a shift from this. Who we're not to who we are. And then doing a simple exercise. Takes 5 minutes, 3 times a day to hold it. And there you have it. That's it. That's who you are. That's why it's like the color of your eyes. The color of your eyes has been that way all this time, and you still have that color. Well, it's the same. Who you truly are is permanent. Who your beliefs are not, because it's not true. No matter how much you believe, the negative or the positive about those beliefs, they're false. And so, I'm here to share with you to go on a journey under 2 hours. Now I'm talking about, like I've worked with 15 different pro athletes or Olympians, okay? That's just in sports. And then mega billionaires, millionaires, and health, cancer. You know, one guy, yeah, I met him in the garbage room in Vancouver. I opened up the door and there he is. And he's so gray and he's humped over and he's like, you think he was going to die any second. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? He said, oh, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. I've had 32 radiation treatments. And I don't know how much time I have. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Within that 15 minutes, I had asked him all these questions. And all I knew about him was his name was Al. 3 weeks later, I get a call from him. This same guy. He said, hi, Don, this is Al Valjanic. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago. Yeah? Well, I don't have any cancer. Now, I could fill this room with those stories. Fill this room with those stories. And you can access this magnificent, powerful, divine energy called IAMDIVINITY. And what's natural about it, it matches who you truly are. That's the key. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that you will know who you are and it will override and supersede who you think you are? Now, if you're tied up with that persona that you've developed, in a second, I might add, and kept it all this time. Like I just worked with a guy that when he was 9, his mom died, and he decided to harden his heart. And he hardened his heart the next 40 years. And that's what all his issues were about. We went back, cleaned that up, boom, it's gone. All the symptoms were all gone. That's how easy it is, and that's how simple this is. So if you want to continue with your hard work and all of those kind of things, and going back and paying for this again, that again, and this again, and the counseling and the therapy and coaching and all of that, go ahead, by all means. But if you want to be free, free to be you, free to be who you truly are, and those eyes, every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you how magnificent you are. And that's how this process is about, whether it's in an individual or whether it's in group. And I welcome you to join us in this journey of raising humanity's consciousness from its existing 210 to 700. That's right, you heard it right. 210 to 700. So it's an awesome journey. We're looking for 100 that are willing to go to 700 to raise humanity's consciousness. So I welcome you, and I'll see you on our journey.
So that video does a really good job of explaining what we do here at IAMDIVINITY, and it's very interesting. I was actually just looking at my phone, and one of my buddies, we had been working together for literally, it's got to be at least 8 years now. He's actually someone I really looked up to back in the day, and he and I worked together on probably like 4 or 5 different projects, maybe more, maybe like 6. You know, we had worked together side by side. We were partners in many different industries and many different projects, and we both made millions of dollars in the industries that we were in. You know, the last big run he had a huge company. They were one of the #1 e-commerce brands in the entire world. Well, that actually ended up, to say the least, literally burning to hell. Like, it was one of the worst things that I had ever seen. It, like, they had hit like such a huge like level, and then it just came crashing down. And you know, it just made me think, like, why do people have this success but aren't able to sustain it? And we've talked about this before, and it really is simply because of defaulting back to the old subconscious patterns, which is stuck in the nervous system, right? No matter how much belief you have around how amazing you are or whatever, once you start ramping up, you start to realize, or not even, who is this? Jamie sucks. Okay, someone's playing some games. But yeah, so it's like as high as you want to go, like you start to default. And he actually messaged me the other day, and it was like, dude, like, I've seen so much growth in you, and you know, I feel ashamed to ask this, but I've been dealing with some addictions. And he like is asking me, like, you know, like, can you help me? And so it's just so interesting to see like the subtle shifts that are happening, and people are noticing just based off of the energy that we're putting out. And he was like asking me, like, you know, what kind of testimonials have you guys done? Like, you know, and you heard in Don's video, there have been people with cancer, people with all kinds of diseases, so on and so forth, or billionaires, or, you know, different athletes in 15 different categories, and you know, at the Olympic level. And you know, it's insane. This is the only process in the world that can give you both an instant and a permanent transformation. The permanent piece obviously has to do with your level of willingness and determination to hold that, because just as easily as you can get it instantly, you can give it up instantly, right? And so you know, it's really awesome to be here with you all. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jamie and him wanting to share this with the world. And so with that being said, I want to bring on our CEO, Mr. Jamie Divine.
Good morning, America. How are you, Powell? Great to see you've overcame that phobia of your light. You're showing up every day. That's awesome, man. Cosmos. I was just the media team clipped your testimony of when you're able to access those full body, I'm gonna call them lightgasms now. Full body lightgasm. That was awesome that you're able to tap into that, get them 3 times a day now, and what a great testimony. Like, how much more do you need, right? So before we get rolling here, for those of you that are new and also for those of you that have gone through the transformation, I just want you to close your eyes with me for just a minute and just imagine or recall your very best moment in your entire life. Maybe it was an entire day, your very best day. You're on it, you're ecstatic, you're in this super high level of energy. You know, everything you touch turned to gold. Recall that best day that you've ever had. For many of you that went through the process with Dawn, like it was for me, that moment when you bursted all that ego energy, that bubble, that balloon, and just felt that pure consciousness, that oneness with everything. Okay. Thank you for those of you that participated with me. Now, with that being said, I want you to put a percentage, a measurement on how much the percentage is that you've been living your entire life, however many years you are. What's the percentage that you've lived in your life at that state, that best day state? What's the percentage? Just throw it in the chat. Powell says 8%. Awesome. Less than a half. Is that less than half, like 50% down, or less than a half of a percent of 1%?
1%.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Thanks for the honesty. Gilbert, 70%. Man, I wish I was hanging out with Gilbert my whole life. 70% living in your best moment, man. That's amazing. And by the way, just to clarify, this is for those of you that have done Dawn's program, this is before Dawn's program, okay? No cheating. Just like a recall of your entire life, how much you lived in that highest state, that very best day. Paul says 10%, Michael says 1%. Yeah, I would peg myself somewhere between 1 and 5% before I did the program with Dawn. So imagine that. Now, Shannon says 1%. Okay, imagine how much of you've been leaving on the table. And Dawn spoke about the beliefs, So choose something that, like, you know for sure, like the color of your eyes. My eyes are hazel. Do I believe my eyes are hazel, or do I know for sure they're hazel? I know for sure, right? But all of the personal development, all of the different programs are working on that belief level, and that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't hold. That's why no matter how much percent you've done, how many years of personal development you've done, that's why you were still only experiencing 1% of your life in your best moment. Well, I got news for you. That very best moment that you felt, that's the real you. And we are meant to live in that 24/7. 24/7. So all of us have, when we created the ego, a blockage that's not allowing us to access right? Whatever your percentage is, it should be 100%, right? It should, like, that is, if that is you, if that's the true you, then, and there are people capable, I know, living at 100%, living that best moment 100% of the time, then it's only our own unconscious decisions that are restricting us from living in that best moment 100% of the time. And so what Don's process is able to do is uncover that, to get to the core of it. And some of you that have gone through the process, you still have what we'd call a reservation. A reservation is like, okay, you know, I'm gonna try this out, but I don't know for sure. Like I'm not ready to dive fully in, but I'll dip my toe in the water, you know. Or like, imagine you were going to an AA meeting, right? Alcoholics Anonymous, but you went to the meeting with, you know, a bottle of booze in your back pocket. That's a reservation, okay? Or when Don quit drinking alcohol 40 odd years ago, he said when he made the decision to quit on January 1st, he said, you know what? I don't care what anyone says on my birthday come September, I'm getting wasted. You know, even though he decided to quit, I'm getting wasted on my birthday. So that's a reservation. And that's what you can be carrying with you still, even after the program. So I know for me, when I did Don's program, it was about 3 weeks that I was living in my best moment 100% of the time. And then the ego started getting in. So first it was like, you know what, like, maybe this thing isn't really working. You know, why am I doing this exercise every day? You know, maybe I don't have to do it every day now. And just slowly but surely, I was making unhealthy decisions to give up my light. Paolo says, I'm used to giving 100%, and I do that with this to 108%. That's amazing, Paolo. Good for you, bud. And it shows, man. You've been on here every single day. You know, like we just had 86, I think it was, 87 that just went through the live transformation with Don. Like there should be that or double on this call right now. But the reason the numbers have actually dropped is because of what I'm telling you right now, which is the core phobia of all phobias. It's the phobia to our light. And that's why you've gone your entire life, like I did, living in your actual light 1% of the time, 5% of the time. That's why. Because we had a phobia to our light. A phobia is just an intense fear. So I know throughout my history, before I did Don's program, and even after, there was 3 major times that I gave it up and went back into that darkness, you know, and held on to that fear of my light. But there's so many moments in my timeline before that as soon as I was rising up, you know, like trajectories, boom, I was superstar and whatever, you know, breaking records in an industry, did that multiple times, and then I would cut my legs out and I would go back to zero, which another word for it is sabotage, right? To put it lightly. But the real core reason of sabotage is this intense fear and phobia to our light. Okay, is that making sense? Throw a yes in the chat if I'm making sense, because this is really, really important, especially for those of you that are new looking to do the process, because the ego is going to use everything it can, whether it's, oh, Jamie wears a pink satin suit, I mean, he must be a cult leader, not going to do that process, like whatever it is, to give you an excuse, to give you an out, to give you a reason to not go through the process. And the process is so damn simple. It's literally a series of questions. Don doesn't do anything, doesn't give you anything. He asks you a series of questions so that you become fully aware of all your toxic patterns. And then he helps you form an entire like a balloon and pop it all in a second. That is the process. It's not some crazy, heebie-jeebie cult witchcraft mind fuck at all. Okay, it's literally just a series of questions. We have it recorded on a Zoom video. But the amount of people that get close, I mean, the amount of people we had in our community last year that were our financial community that found any reason whatsoever to not just watch an hour and a half video to go through the process. It's because of this phobia of their light. Okay. Yesterday I shared my younger brother Jesse. He flew out from Vancouver. He took 4 plane rides, 30 plus hours, overcame the I'm gonna die on the plane ride intense fear that he had, overcame all that, got here, did his questionnaire. Right? Don has a questionnaire that helps you bring all the patterns to the surface. Did all that. We went to an island for my birthday. He was excited to be the first one that Don had ever done the process with on a private island. He was going to be the first one to do a one-on-one with him. My birthday present from Don was to do a one-on-one with my brother because Don charges minimum $10,000 for just a one-on-one session. And so that was my gift from Don, is that Jesse got a one-on-one. And after all of that, all the travel, all the excitement, all of the conversation that we had, that all this awareness was coming up for him, the questionnaire, everything, at the last second, the day before he was going to do it, he started finding reasons wrong with Don and with me. And it was interesting because some of them were made up with Don because I actually did them, but he thought it was Don just so he could find a reason wrong with Don so that he didn't have to go through this process, which again is just a series of questions. And he's in the chat if you can hear me. We had a power outage. I'm not surprised. Okay, cool. Thanks for hanging on there. Perfect. Okay, so as I was saying, my brother Jesse went through all the knot holes to get here to do the process. And when he was right in front of Don to do it, and he literally told me the night before that he was going to do it. So the next day he'd made his decision, I'm going to do it. And then in the morning when I woke up, 7 a.m., I get a message from him that he's already at the airport already found his own way home, got in a taxi without asking anyone, found a flight, even though we were covering the flight, got his own flight out of here so that he didn't have to do the process. That is the absolute definition of the phobia to our light. Okay? And yeah, not surprised the power went out as I was sharing that. So for me, how it manifested was yeah, Dan asked if I've talked to him since. Actually, yeah, we did a little back and forth, and I just said, Jesse, just so you know, that's just the ego that found a way to convince you not to take the process because it wants to stay in control of you. I'm not going to bring it up ever again, but unless you come to me and say that you're done with all that, then we can talk then. And he just said, yeah, you talk down on our whole family and just stay out of my life. I don't want to talk to you again. Bye. And he blocked me. My own brother blocked me yesterday. So let's have a moment of silence for my brother Jesse. Because yeah, unfortunately it's almost as good as it's almost like having a funeral service for him, because he decided to stay in the ego very clearly. Okay. And when we talk about the phobia of our light, you got to understand that the ego. So those of you that wrote down the percentages, right? 1% of your life, 5% of your life that you've lived in that best moment, which is your light. Imagine that. How many years have you lived and only 5% of it is in who you actually are, in your light? That's the phobia we're talking about. That 95% of the time you had to find a way to cut off your light. Paul says, Don and I know exactly what you are experiencing. Yes, Paul. Yeah, I'm not sure of your story, Paul, but definitely heard many stories from Don of his many family members and how hard that is. Shannon says, I'm sorry, I haven't talked to my family since May. It's heartbreaking when you're been on the same page. I've been in this journey of living in my light since last May. So many heartbreaking things have happened since then. Yeah, I hear you, Shannon. And again, the reason why these, whether it's family or friends or strangers, it doesn't matter. The reason why they're running away from you after you're in your light is because of that phobia to their light. You're exposing the fact that they're not in their own light. Sorry to hear that, Paul. Yeah, it's tough. And then at the end of the day, you just got to choose. Okay, is it going to be, my light? Am I going to choose to live, or am I going to keep giving my life up for everyone else around me, whether it's family or friends, relationship, doesn't matter. So yeah, I know I've made my decision. And when you decide to truly get your power back and live in your light 24/7, you have to just allow those people to choose to either be in their light or not. It's not much we can do. That's the beautiful thing about free will. So coming back to 5% of my life in my light, right? 1% of my life in my light. And then some of you that have gone through the program, it's interesting how the ego it like intuitively knows how powerful this process is, even though it's a simple process of just a series of questions and popping the ego energy. The ego knows that it will lose its grip on you after going through this process. And that's why we get so much pushback on the front end. You know, like I was talking to Sam the other day about it, and it was like we have these mutual friends that are all in the personal development world, and if we brought any personal development stuff to them, you know, they'd be gung-ho all about it, right? But bringing the divinity to them, they're like running away with a, you know, with the 10-foot pole type thing. Don't touch me with that crazy shit. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you can keep repeating that. And the spiritual programs are, in my experience, the absolute hardest, because they're still on the belief level of personal development, the spirituality programs, but now they have the languaging, you know, like they'll use the language of your light and your divinity. So then you think it's the same. So then you think you already have it. I remember Tiffany's transformation, as she was going through the beginning stage of the process. It was the first event with Dawn that she was on live, and she shared with us that she got triggered when Dawn was using James as an example, and basically just turned herself off to the process, like found Dawn to be too aggressive, right? Found something wrong with Dawn so she could back off from the process. And then we were doing these lives, and she's been showing up all the time. She's been super committed. And one of the times she shared, like, oh, like I've been in my light like all the time. I've been like living in my divine focus all the time. And again, that's that crossover of the spirituality programs, the personal development, spiritual intellectualism that is on the same level of the belief systems, not the knowingness, but the beliefs. But the language is the same, so it's really hard to disguise. But then it was just last, many of you were on that last live call, Life Transformation, that Tiffany opened right up, and she's like, yo, like I forget what the percentage was, but yeah, she said never, right? She'd never access she's 45 years of age. And she said basically her whole life, she had never accessed this. But we saw when the spiritual ego was taking her on a journey, like, oh, you already have this, like you don't need to do it again. So it was awesome to see that she showed up and went all in with the last transformation. But hi, Janet, I see you on the call. So again, yeah, like just reflecting on before Dawn's program, how much you've lived in that best moment. Like that's such a key measurement, right? And then now, after the program, after you have the tool, you have the exact tool to live in your light 100% of the time. So now for those of you that have done the process, how much of your life right now are you living in that best moment in your light? How much percentage of each day are you in that? Just throw it in the chat. Gilbert says 100%. Michael says 50%. 108 Powell, awesome. 65% says Dan. 60% says LK. Okay, now don't get me wrong, impressive numbers, especially if you were 5 or 10% or 1% before the program, right? I mean, if you were 5% and you're at 50%, well, now you're 10 times more in your life. You're, you know, in your light. Paul says 25%. So then that begs the next question. Now that you actually have the tool to be in your light 100% of the time, like you can't claim ignorance anymore, right? Before the process, we were doing things subconsciously, we were unaware. But now, not only are we fully aware, but we have the tool. So we literally have no excuse. And that's why when anyone ever says anything of an excuse to me, I'm like, dude, that's bullshit. It's just straight up bullshit. Like you either do it or you don't. I had a big update from Nua the other day. We flew him in from Utah. He did a one-on-one with Don on Divinity Mountain, and had an incredibly powerful transformation. And he flies back home, and it had been days that we hadn't heard from him. Hadn't been given Don any updates. I hadn't heard from him, and so I reached out. I said, "Hey, everything okay?" Because Don's saying you haven't been sharing any updates, and I sense you gave up your transformation to fit in with your family, because I knew he was on his way home and they were going on a trip to Hawaii together with the whole family. So he writes me back this big update, and it was like, yeah, it's because I've been sick, and I've been doing the divine focus, but then I notice when I don't do it, I'm getting sick, and like all this whole thing. And I'm like, dude, respectfully, like that's all a bunch of bullshit. And he wrote back, and at least he was open and honest enough to receive that truth. And he just said, yeah, you're right, man. I'm going to get right back into my divinity, and that's what it is. Like we have the tool. I remember my friend Adam, he flew into Cabo 3 years ago or so to work with Don one-on-one. And it had been a couple of years. This was maybe a year ago that I asked him, like, so what's like the number one thing that you got from Don? And I knew he was in and out of his transformation. And Adam said, the best thing I got from Don was that in any second, I know I can get to my highest level of consciousness. So then the next question was, so why are you keeping it in your back pocket? Like, why are you not using that? Like, why are you not in your highest level of consciousness all the freaking time? Like, why are you at 60%, 50%, 25%? Like, why? Right? When we have the tool. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, because like I said, I gave it up 3 major times with Don, to the point where like we were in serious altercations. Like I was finding anything just to be pissed off at Don, so I could just, to hell with this process, and push him away so I could get away with all my old ego behaviors and go back to that. And really what it was, again, roots back to the phobia of my light. I was too high. I thought I was gonna die. Right? You can quote me on that one, because that one has hit me many times in my past. Too high, I thought I was gonna die, because that is the phobia to your light. Okay, what a phobia is intense fear that the ego convinces you you're going to die, right? Whether it's spiders or bugs or heights or closed in places, claustrophobic, all of those fears are you convinced that you're going to die from the ego. So that's how twisted the ego is that the reason you've been living in your light, your best moment, 5% of your life, is because 95% of the time the ego's convinced you that you're going to die if you live in your light. You're going to die if you live in your light, who you are. Imagine that. And the ironic thing is, and this is where everything flipped for me. This was my second time that I majorly gave it up with Don. Like, just, we were both living down in Mexico, across the street from each other. And I wouldn't even go see him across the street for like a good 2 weeks. And he got to the point where like, all right, man, like if we're not doing this together, like this ain't working out, I'm out of here. And he left. And I was like, good, get out of here. Like, don't want to see you again, And I proceeded to start going back to my old patterns, right? Because if I'm not doing the divinity process anymore, what am I doing? Well, the ego's coming in real quick, and I'm going back to all my drinking, my weed smoking, all of that. And it was some major near-death experiences that I had after just binge drinking, like way too much. Because if I was an alcoholic before the process, I had to drink 10 times as much after the process because of how aware I was of everything. So just to even try to escape from that awareness, I had to drink 10 times as much, and it still didn't fucking work. Okay. So I got to the point where I literally almost killed myself. like not intentionally, but indirectly, right? Driving drunk, not even remembering, like waking up and being in some random Mexican, neighborhood, like crazy fucking shit. Okay. And that's when it hit me was holy fucking shit. It's not if I'm in my light, I'm going to die. It's if I'm not in my light, I'm going to die. If I'm not in my light, I'm going to die. Because the ego is going to find a way to kill you. That's the ego. Convinces you it's protecting you by finding multiple ways of killing you. I don't have to look much further than my family. My stepdad, his dad, I mean, chronic drinkers. Like, grandpa would wake up at 6 a.m., go to the liquor store first thing and drink a fireball of, that cinnamon whiskey, like just to start his day. And he's such a strong person, he had major accomplishments in his life, but the drugs, the alcohol totally took him out. And he was so strong that all of that wouldn't kill him indirectly. So he literally had to kill himself. He had to hang himself at the end of his life there to take it, because couldn't keep going on, and all the ways he was indirectly trying to kill himself weren't working. Janet, I'm so impressed that you said that. You said, I just realized that when I was drinking non-alcoholic beer, it was still coming from the ego. The ego is tricky. Yes, Janet, I didn't want to say it to you. I just when I asked you, like, hey, is that alcohol? I was just, wanted to share my experience, because that's what I ended up doing. Is in that transition time, I would go for the non-alcoholic beers, just because I like the taste. Like, nobody actually likes the taste of fucking alcohol. Like, if you've acquired a taste for alcohol, you're an alcoholic, like I was. So like I just realized, and then I started doing the decaf coffee, just because I just like the taste of coffee. No, it was the fucking ego using, like, okay, I'm just gonna get him this, and if I get him caught on the like hooked in the taste of it, one day he's gonna choose the regular instead of the decaf. One day he's gonna choose the alcohol instead of the non-alcohol. Go to that one bar that doesn't have any non-alcoholic. Okay, so one beer, that's not gonna hurt anyone, right? Yeah, well, let me tell you, almost died. And that if you guys can take that experience, I don't recommend it for anyone. So if you can take that and learn from it now and not have to go through the 4 years of trial and error like I did, I highly encourage it. So shifting that, it's not my light that's going to kill me, it's the ego that's going to kill me. And I guarantee you, if you look at your life, the ego is, any form of sabotage, what is that? It's literally killing yourself. Any form of sabotage, whether it's like me, I would get to a certain level in a business, I would start breaking records, superstar, number one, and then boom, give it all up, go back to zero. What is that? That was me killing my light, or coming into money and getting rid of it, killing my success, killing my life force, or drinking or smoking weed, literally to suppress my energy, to suppress my life force, to kill myself. That is what the ego convinces you to do in many different shapes and forms. We all saw it through the big plan scam-demic thing. It's like however billions of dollars the advertising budget was for that I'm going to convince you that this questionable liquid that you inject into yourself is going to protect you. Meanwhile, it's actually poison and it's going to kill you. Do you see it? What are any addictions? All addictions kill you. All addictions, maybe not instantly, sometimes they do. but definitely gradually. Same thing with, for those of you that have like a food addiction. What is that? Smoking cigarettes. What is that? I was doing that before Don's process. Thought I'd never smoked cigarettes in my life. Well, a year before I did Don's process, I was smoking cigarettes because even the alcohol and the weed wasn't doing it anymore. So I needed to add another vice, add another addiction. Just got to contain all this light. Just got to kill it any way possible. Just got to suppress it, stay in the dark. Are you with me? Give me an I am if you're with me. Janet says, how do you know it's a food addiction or you just love to eat? Janet, I love it. Appreciate all the I ams. Janet, for me, if I have to ask the question, I know the answer. I already know the answer. If you're asking the question, if you're questioning it, yeah, you know the answer. Even if it's healthy food. I was vegan for, I don't know, 10 years. And so then I would just Shannon's like, damn. So then I just justified, well, you know, and I was like raw foodist for 2 years. And so they had all these crazy combinations and I would just overeat all this stuff just because it was healthy food. But I would fricking overeat it. So even if it's the healthiest food on the planet, if you're eating 3 times more than your body actual needs for fuel, what are you doing? Yes, killing yourself. Killing yourself. Because the minute it goes beyond this is fuel, now what is it? It's entertainment. Okay? It's toxic waste. That's what you're doing. It's just one example. You know, you don't have to stop eating food, Janet. I wasn't trying to get you upset. But that is the truth of it, right? And we all know this. Every decision that we make is either life-giving or life-taking, right? It's either in our light or getting us further away from our light. It's either our divinity or it's given into the ego. Every decision that we make. So that's this journey, you know, because the higher you go on the scale, the more like granular these decisions have to become. The more you're aware of everything. You can't get away with shit anymore. You can't just unconsciously do these things. So, Gilbert says BS annoys me now. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. And it can be so subtle, especially for the person delivering it, right? And I'm at the point now where like I don't care. I'm going to tell them the truth and the whole truth every single time. I don't care if they're my best friend. You can ask Sam how much I let him get away with. The answer is absolutely zero. So like I'm just willing to risk, you know, Sam or whoever to be upset with me or to challenge it or whatever. I'm willing to risk the relationship for the truth. I'm always going to give them the truth 100% of the time. Now, that is quite a filter for people. That's a reason why my brother has decided to block me and ask me to never, ever be a part of his life ever again. Because imagine how annoying the truth is to someone that wants to keep living their illusion. Imagine how annoying the truth is to someone living their illusion. And that's what it is. So we have a pretty small circle here these days. But you know what? I would rather a small circle full of truth and integrity and just this absolute powerful light force than the the half-assed, mediocre, watered down, in and out on the fence, just not about it. So appreciate every single one of you on the call, especially those familiar faces like Tiffany and Powell and Michael, LK, and Janet and Gilbert, and whoever else is above there. Joel will get to it. Really appreciate you guys because yeah, Dagmar, I've seen you a lot lately. That's awesome. This is the God family that we're speaking of, right? We got the God family and the goddamn family. And the damn ones are, the ones that are choosing to continue living in the ego, and the illusion. And that is their choice. That's the beautiful gift of free will. We are so free, we can choose to kill ourselves. Slowly or quickly, doesn't matter, but we're so free that we can choose to kill ourselves. And I know I'm being even more direct than I normally am today. So
I noticed.
Thank you, Dan. It's at the point where it's like is this clear? Is this clear enough? And for me, the last straw of any type of, watered downness was my brother. Like me going through that process, my brother was really the last one in the family that even had a chance of, him coming over to the bright side. And it got me. Like I was excited about that. And after I went through that process with brother, realizing how I gave him everything, supported him with all of it, like just made it super comfortable to make that decision and like the whole experience. And for him to literally come all the way here just to piss on it right in front of my face, it's like, okay, like lesson learned. Like it's not up to us. And that's the surrender piece, right? That's, for me, that was the last little bit of the surrender thing, because just I wanted to help everyone. The amount of pain and shit that I went through was intolerable, to the point where I want to be able to give all of that experience to someone so they don't have to go through that. And that was my my weakness of surrendering, was that I was wanting it for many people more than they were wanting it for themselves. I was 1,000% committed to them taking the process when they would show just 5%. Like I would just latch on to it, like, okay, there's a little glimpse of light. All right, I'm gonna help you there, not gonna do that anymore. Not gonna do that. It was part of my process. And it's no coincidence that the most powerful transformation I've had to date was not planned, on that island on my birthday, when Don and I sat and really, I was the first one he had even tried it on other than himself, and just immersed into that, like, whoa, like that beyond 1,000 energy, the consciousness scale 0 to 1,000. It was beyond 1,000. And I'm still, finding my bearings on that one. But the interesting part of the timing to it is, as soon as we were done, I hadn't seen my brother for most of the day. He came over right as we finished, to the point where Don almost told him, like, give us a minute, because I was still integrating what just went down. And my brother came in, and I joked with Don. I said, man, if he didn't come in, like, there's no way I was going to be able to ground myself from that energy. I was just woo, all over the multiverse. Okay. So in a way it was helpful. But then for us to have this like in over the next 48 hours, this back and forth of him, oh, I'm gonna do it, oh, I'm not gonna do it, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna not gonna do it, oh, I'm gonna do it, and then oh, just kidding, I got on a flight myself. That was like the final piece of surrender that I needed for anyone external, like holding on to that. And it was because I was putting the mission so high. Don caught me a few weeks ago that I was putting the mission, the vision of raising humanity's consciousness, I was putting that above my own divinity. So the ego was using that to suck me down, because I was just putting the work aspect of it above my own, which obviously counterintuitive to the vision. Like the best thing Jamie can do for the vision is to hold the highest energy, possible. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Paul says, brings up an obvious question: is guilt the ego? Well, as I said before, Paul, if you have to ask the question, you know the answer. I wasn't fully aware that I do this, but Will, not too long ago, a few days ago, he said to Sam, because Sam asked me something, and Will said to Sam, he goes, yeah, I noticed Jamie doesn't answer the question when he knows you know the answer. I remember when he said that. I'm like, yeah, I do that. Yeah. And then the way that you asked it, Paul, it's an obvious question. Yes. So you know the answer on that one. Dan, the color pink is because that 1,000 is that color. How about doing a group divine focus? Yeah, the purple and pink came out of there was a conscience chart that Don and I had when we were traveling around the world tour. Like there's many out there, but the one that we had was a pretty standard one from Hawkins, and they had the different colors, and the very tip of the iceberg, the 700 to 1,000. 700 to 1,000 was purple, and then the very top was pink. And so we started using that. We changed all of our clothes, literally threw out everything. We were down to a backpack at that time when we were doing the world tour, but we gave donated all of our clothes to just random like housekeepers in the hotels or whatever. And we went and got all pink and purple. And even when I had hair, Don woke up one morning, he said, I'm gonna go get my hair done like this, and it was pink hair. I'm like, well, you're not doing that alone. So next thing you know, Don and I are in the salon, we're getting our hair done pink too. We had these different pink blazers, but it was great because people would always use that as like the ones that were attracted to the light. It gave them a really easy way to engage with us. There were so many times that they would ask, like, oh, what's with the pink and purple, like what's going on there? And we would have our little conscience chart like laminated in a little like postcard size. And we pull it out, it's like, well, actually, it's the levels of consciousness you ever hear. It was like a perfect opening for this conversation. They'd either run away right away, or they'd be like really like, wow. And we had many people that ended up going through the process just by those like nerds. Yeah, exactly. Just by those encounters, which was really, really cool. And so yeah, a group divine focus. And it goes back to that the two most important words I've heard throughout this entire process. It was back December 31st, 2020, when Tim Steinruck, the one that opens up the music, just wrote his new song, I Am Divine, amazing. He worked with Don one-on-one over Zoom. And at the time, Tim was by far like the best testimony. He just like instantly got it and didn't have a bad day for like weeks and weeks and weeks, just like 100% in his light the second of that transformation. Didn't go back for anything, no reservations, no nothing. And so we questioned Tim. We're like, Tim, like, what, like, why did you have such a powerful transformation? He said, well, the two things that I had was 100% commitment and 100% surrender. And that's when I knew where my weak link was, because I was 100% committed. I was 1,000% committed. But I was not 100% surrendered with Don. And that was what my back and forth was with Don, and those major times that I gave it up and pushed him away and went back to the booze and all that. So it wasn't for me, and I'm not suggesting this, it wasn't until I had that near-death experience that it was really clear in my face, like, no, dummy, it's not you living in your light that's going to kill you. It's you not living in your light that's going to kill you. That's how you're going to die, dum-dum. So that's when I called Don back, and I just begged him to meet up with me again. And it was like seriously extremely close that he considered that, like, I'm not going to go through this again, because I put him through a lot of shit, you know, by just being all in and then being all out, and like really just being narcissistic, we could call it. You know, that came back pretty strong, the fight with Don. But yeah, it was for me that near-death experience that just was like, okay, like I gotta fully surrender here, or I'm straight up gonna kill myself. You know, that's what it got to for me. Not suggesting it. Hope you can take that and integrate it without the near-death experience. That's why I'm giving it to you. But yeah. So what time are we at, bud?
It's 12:17.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up here. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Normally I wouldn't care at all, especially because it's not my team in the Super Bowl. I've been a Philadelphia Eagles fan since I was 9 years old. I played football for 8 years, and I actually went to Philadelphia and I played in a football camp with the Eagles. Deuce Staley was the running back at the time. Donovan McNabb was the rookie. I remember throwing the ball with Donovan. I was like, who's this, like, nobody, you know? And a few years later, he becomes like one of the most successful quarterbacks in the league. But yeah, that was fun. So I've always been an Eagles fan, and it was terrible how they just totally gave up. They were number one in the league this year, 11-1, and then lost all their remaining games, including their first playoff game. Like, just talk about sabotage, talk about a phobia to your light. Hurts, if you're listening, Don, you need to talk to Don, okay? You need to talk to Don, because you're sabotaging you know, the whole team. So Don's team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are in the Super Bowl. So we'll be watching that in just a few hours. Need to get some sleep, but it's really one of the only human things we do these days. And the football season's over for many months, so we'll be good. But that will be fun. And yeah, I just really encourage you, for those of you that said you're not living in your best moment, in your light 100% of the time, for those of you that have gone through the process, for those of you who haven't, well, obviously go through the process so you actually have the tool to live in your light 100% of the time. But for those of you that have gone through it and you're still holding on to something, really encourage looking at that surrender piece. And the two things that are going to help you, that helped me at least, is going back. We got the transformations recorded. Go back, go through the recording again, go through the transformation again. That's what Tiffany needed. I remember the first time she had major resistance that came up because the way that Don was talking to James, and that stopped her from surrendering to the process. But this one we had a few days ago, she was 100% open, 100% honest, 100% surrendered. And Tiffany, actually, if you're on the call, I'd love to hear just what's been happening. I know it's only been a few days, but what has been happening for you since that transformation the other day? If you can come on and share, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Well, I've actually been having a really hard time. And I wasn't on the call yesterday. And I actually slept most of the day. Anyway, and today I got on late, but I already feel so much better being on the call. And just like hearing what you're saying is so perfect for me in this time that I'm having also. But I feel like, so I've told you guys how close I am with my family and my husband, and it seems like I just want to be in my light, and I go out with my family and they're like bickering with each other, or they're watching The Simpsons, and so so then I'm like, I'm gonna go car camping by myself just so I could be in nature. And well, then they want to go with me, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, that's great. But then I imagine them just watching YouTube the whole time, and like, anyway, and it's kind of thrown me out of my light. Um, and then, just to be completely honest with you, when Don spoke, I don't know if he spoke yesterday, but the day I guess that you slept, you weren't there, Jamie. He said um, that his process requires a double sound technique to really fully process, or what am I saying? To shock the nervous system. And in the last one that we did that I was on, there was only one sound, was his yell, because those microphones that you guys wear, they don't pick up claps. And so I was thinking like, oh, it didn't fully work for me, because that's what I've been thinking. It didn't fully work for me because I didn't get that double shock technique, and it didn't like shock my nervous system as much as it really needs to be shocked. Um, so I even asked in the other group, like, could you guys maybe edit that so it's like really, really shocking? Because I need a really, really shocking shock to my system. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I'm going to the first call, I mean, the first transformation that you guys have recorded, the one where where Dawn was, I was triggered by Dawn. I think there's a second one that I wasn't on that's recorded, so I'm gonna go and try that one again and see if I'm gonna go through the process again, but listening to that one, and yeah, we'll see. But I hear you on the surrender. I hear you loud and clear. You're speaking to me, and I'm sure I've been on so much, and I'm sure you guys can see that I have a really hard time surrendering. So thanks for these reminders and these calls every day.
Yeah, you're welcome, Tiffany, and thank you for being so honest and open. That alone will help you shift back into it, just bringing that awareness up. So, I mean, you nailed it. It is the surrender piece, because as Gilbert just dropped in the chat, so he said it worked for him. And I know all about lack of surrender, okay, as a previous recovering narcissist. That wasn't my strong, that wasn't my strength, that's for sure. And you may have missed the beginning of this call, but I was speaking also about the spirituality programs, because I did so many of them, and that actually came up a lot for me with my difficulty to surrender. And the reason for it was because the different spirituality programs, they used like the similar language, like like one of the major courses I did was The Light Will Set You Free. And so like they're using the language of the light and the divinity, and so then my ego used that, like, I already have it, like I don't need Dawn, I'm on my own spiritual journey, like we're all on our own journey here, like that sort of thing. And that really blocked me big time. And it wasn't until we went out to Bali, I've shared this with you before, and met with like the spiritual leaders of the whole world in Bali, and then seeing how closed they were, like how threatened they were of Dawn's process. because they knew like they would have to let go of that, all of that old spirituality programming to go through the process. And that's why 8 out of 9 of them just never, like, totally ran away from us. And the one that did it gave it up like the week later. And she went off to some spiritual festival in California, you know, where they do the spiritual drugs and the you know. So I yeah, I talked about it in the beginning of the call, but I sense that there may be something there for you too. But we that is a good idea to edit in the double sound, but that is not what stopped you. Just so you know, that's how powerful you are, that you're able to. So the ego is able, when it's in control, it's able to use all of your creativity, which is infinite, right? You have infinite power, infinite creativity. So the ego uses that against you. And so it's literally an infinite list of creative reasons of why you didn't get it, couldn't get it, already have it, but you actually don't. Like all of that.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, even just something simple, seemingly simple, like, oh, I missed one of the calls and then I was late on the next, you know, like that sort of thing. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but the ego is going to use that. And next thing you know, you miss a week of it, and next, you know, all that. Like James is a prime example. I shared with you guys before, you know, he had such a powerful transformation on that first call we did a few months back. And then it was about 2 weeks in where he reached out, maybe 10 days. And he said, hey man, like I'm going through a crazy amount of shit here. Like when's the next one? I need help to get back on track. And we created that second event out of, you know, James' need. We were going to do it anyway, but it was kind of like, okay, let's set it now because James really needs it. And then he never got on that second transformation event. And you could just imagine, because that was like what, we're going on probably 2 months now. And he hasn't been on, I think maybe one of these. How many have we done? 35, 34? What's today? 35 days. I think he came on one and he said he was, you know, coming back, but that was it. 1 out of 35 of these days, and didn't ever do the second holding transformation. So just, and I'm just using James as an example because it's like you saw how powerful that was for him. And then imagine all of the creative things that the ego's been able to come up with for the last 2 months, 3 months to keep him out, you know? And I know that firsthand. I've shared with you guys plenty of times that the times that I gave it up, it was like there was just infinite things that the ego is able to conjure up. You know, it's wild. It's actually wild, but just grounding yourself back into, that's how powerful I am. The ego's using my power against me, you know? And at the end of the day, it is that surrender. It's like, okay, I'm just like, no matter what, with all the externals, right? The family, the don't have the time, like whatever, getting pulled in this direction, that direction, whatever the bullshit excuses are, forgive me, but that is what they are. Because, you know, no matter what, it's like you can find that time even with people around. I mean, sometimes I just go to the bathroom literally just to do my divine focus if there's a bunch of people around, like I'll just go do that. But the people we have around us now, we're pretty like, I'm grateful for how committed everyone around us is at this point, because, you know, if we're in the car ride, for example, and we go into our divine focus, like people are aware of it and like they're quiet, you know, which is nice. But I understand in your transition period, like I didn't have that. It was absolute chaos and drama all around me. Okay, like when Don and I were in Mexico, and these were the early days for me. My family had come down. It was my mom, my brother Chase, my sister Tessa, and her husband Reese. Okay. Now, all of them are drinkers. Okay. And they're all coming to Mexico for vacation. And we all know what that means, right? It's basically like all you can drink, all you can eat, maybe go to the beach, and that's it. And so Dawn and I had all of this around us. Okay. And it was crazy. Like my mom had asked Dawn to bring her through the process. So he was bringing her through the process. And you know how you, in that moment with James, like you got triggered with Tiffany got triggered with that, oh, Dawn's being too aggressive. Well, that's what happened with my sister. So my sister overhears mom going through the process with Dawn, and you know, him being strong in the moment he needs to be, and sister took that as Dawn's yelling at mom, you know, and being disrespectful to mom, and so now sister's going and telling her husband and my brother, who are all, it's like 10 and 11 in the morning, and they're all already, you know, super drunk, and they literally got into Dawn's face and almost like we're ready to fist fight him. Okay, like this is just one small example of the chaos and drama. Okay, and then mom's in the corner, you know, overlooking but not really like defending it, like just kind of like, oh, like let's witness the drama here, you know, like because that is the ego. It's completely addicted to the drama and chaos, just like a drug addict. Like it literally needs hits of chaos and drama. That is that system. So everything is, I'm going to die no matter what. Anything I touch or do or whatever, any decision I make, it's, you know, I got to filter it through, oh, I'm going to die. Right. And like the more drama and chaos, the better, like to feed that ego addiction. So anyway, not saying any of your families are like that, but what I am saying is that you can get through all of that. And at the end of the day, just take it as your training wheels, your training camp, your boot camp, right? Where the ego is like testing you at all levels so that you can get through. And at first, it's like every arrow, you know, causes you to bleed. And then you graduate to now you're not like, you know, flesh. Now you're like wood, you know, and you're like a little stronger, but like the nail can go in. And then you graduate from the wood, and now you're like bulletproof steel, invincible. Doesn't matter if your brother said he never wants to talk to you again, or people say they're going to kill you because you're doing this cult divinity thing. You know, I get it all. It doesn't matter because you're absolutely bulletproof and invincible. So in the early stages, it's like, yeah, you're going to be like jello. You're going to be affected by everything. Don used the perfect analogy before of the wound and the salt, right? Like if you put or if you put salt on your wound, obviously you're going to get triggered, you're going to react, you're going to be pissed off. But imagine if that wound isn't there, and same situation, salt goes on, doesn't have any effect on you, right? So that's where you're just going through your training camp right now. You're getting those badges of honor. I have plenty of them. And then you get to the point where like nothing will phase you. And like I said, you just, instead of making the excuse of, oh, my family's around, so I can't sit in my divine focus, I had to catch myself a couple days with my brother being here. I was cutting my divine focus short because I was like, oh, got to make sure like brother's taken care of and, you know, entertained and all that. And on the third day after we had like the big truth conversation, I was like, I'm sitting in this fucking thing for 3 hours. I don't care what he's doing. Like, it doesn't matter. But just finding that time, like Don says, even if you're at work, you're at a 9 to 5, it's like, go to the bathroom for 10 minutes, do your divine focus there. Like there's no, like, I'm trying to, or what, it's just you do or you don't. And that will say everything that you need to know about your commitment level and your surrender. So again, for those of you, so Tiffany, I asked before you came on the call, what percentage those of you that went through the process are holding your light. Like what percentage of the day out of 100% are you in that best moment energy? So we didn't catch yours. What are you at?
I don't know. Like the last couple of days, I would say like 5%.
Okay. Well,
It's been
thank you for
rough.
being honest. And Don just woke up from his last evening's bed hour. Didn't think he was coming, so I think he came just for you. I'm gonna bring him on now, and he'll help you out. But so Tiffany, remember Tiffany on the live call? So the last couple of days have been real tough with her, like family around and all that. So she's having a hard time, wondering how she can get back on track. And then she was finding reasons. We already addressed that of like the first transformation. She got triggered when you were talking to James. She's like, oh, it's too aggressive. And she like blocked her transformation then. And then the second one, the ego's got her going back to, oh, well, Don said that he does a double sound technique, but the microphone only worked for one sound. Like it only picked up the yell and not the clap. So then maybe I didn't get it because of that. Which, yeah, as I was just sharing with her, the ego is going to use her infinite creativity to create all these reasons why she didn't get it, won't get it, has it, but doesn't actually, all that. So let you take it over from here. For my 4 years, Don's got 40 more. So he's seen it all. He's been invincible for a while. You know, I went through my Jello wood and steel phase. Super excited to announce I have officially graduated and I am officially invincible. So I can thank my brother on that one. That was the last little dust bunny. And also the new process that I just was a guinea pig with Don on and the island that he'll wait a year or two to tell you, but I'll tell you when he's not here. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. Yeah, and that's really what it is us going through whatever we need to go through to become invincible. Because once you have that, like that decision that's locked in, I remember Don before would ask, like, just think of a decision that you made that you never looked back on, like never, like you just made it and there was just instant commitment and surrender. You never went back. For me, it was when I decided to move out of, I was living with my uncle. So move away from my family. I was 16. And I don't care how bad things got after, like I never was going back. Like I made sure I did whatever I needed to do to be on my own, you know, from there. So that's really what it is. But going through all these tests, these trials, just to get, you know, stronger and stronger, to the point where you're invincible and you can handle it all. That's when you know it's locked in, and then nothing can affect you. That's when it's like the ultimate stage of freedom, pure supreme God mode. Don's rolling his eyes at me already. I'm dropping hints, man. I'm dropping hints. Kind of a Jedi, yeah. That's awesome. Yes. What is it? The Force is with you?
Yeah.
The Force is you. With that being said, I'll bring on Don, the master of consciousness. Right. Good morning.
Oh, do I get?
By the way, the Chiefs already played. You missed it. Almost got him. Almost.
Yeah, Jamie said. I think Jamie said 4 teams this year. He yeah, every time his team lost, he picked a new team.
Whoever's playing your team, I could get your team to lose. I would change my team.
That's true. That's true. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, I guess, for you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That late night for me is not a very good match. And anyway, Good to be here. Still waking up, actually. And I just got the tail end of what Jamie was saying to Tiffany. And know this, that the whole thing about this at this stage is any weakness we have, any doubts, any second guessing, whatever those are, the ego is going to use it. It's going to use it against you. But you need to know something. The ego is not you. You got to know that. The ego is not you. It isn't. No, it is not. The ego is not you. And we can like recognizing it. And there is a simple, I'm sure I said it, but let's say the ego's got you on the run, and it's got you, you know, like just thinking the negative, noticing what's wrong, thinking the worst, those kind of things. First of all, know that it's not you. Any thoughts you have, they're not you. They're not. And the thing about that part is all you have to do is, let's say it's behind you. We'll do it this way so that you can see. So here it is. It's in front of you. It's in front of you, and it's doing all this, got you worrying about something, thinking the worst. Mine was noticing what's wrong and thinking the worst. Notice what's wrong, think the worst. And so that was my worst one. Anyway, so here it is. Now it's here, and then you turn your back to it. Turn your back to it. That's it. And you go into your bliss state. You go into, and this is the key. It's like this divine focus to create this bliss. The bliss is who you truly are. And once again, that's like your eyes. And you just turn away from the the chatter of the ego. It wants your attention. It wants your attention. There's nothing real about what it has to say. Nothing real. So you just turn your back, and this is what I do. I link my go like this and say, I am. Boom. And I recall one of my most amazing moments. That's it. It's that simple. That's it. And no matter how much it's got you on the run, you just do that. You just do that. Take a second, take a moment, and do that. And I just got the tail end of Tiffany. Did you say that you gave most of it up already?
Well, I actually think the problem that I'm having is finding that bliss moment to have divine focus. So
Is that a fact?
Yes, that's what
Huh.
I'm feeling like. And
Oh,
I
that's what
feel
you're
like,
feeling like. Oh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so when I try to do divine focus, I don't feel that blissful feeling when
What do you
anymore.
feel?
Like I just feel nothing, or I
Oh,
feel like I'm faking it. I feel like I'm trying to fake it, which doesn't work.
well, that's a lot of chatter, Tiffany. So, do you remember when you were this moment you were finished? When we did the actual transformation, do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did it have a feeling?
Yes, but it's not one I can recall
No,
anymore.
at that time. Did it have a feeling? Yes or no?
I think so.
No, no, that's bullshit. Tiffany, did it have that feeling? Tiffany, yes or no?
Mm,
Tiffany, yes or no?
I guess no.
No, no what? No, you didn't have that beautiful feeling?
Well, I don't know what else to say because I can't recall it. So I feel like I have
I
to say
didn't ask you
no.
that. I just asking you a question. Did you have that feeling at that time?
No.
So all of the things you were saying to us, you were lying about.
Yeah, I know, don't know.
What? I can't hear you.
I said I don't know. I don't
No, no,
know.
there's no such. Look at what color are your eyes?
Brown.
Now you know that for sure.
Yes.
Positive.
Yes.
How long them brown?
Forever. My whole life.
Forever. Okay. So you know what it feels like to know that you have brown eyes and you had them your whole life. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, soon as we were finished of the transformation, do you remember sharing with the group what it was like? Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
Wonderful. And that was you.
Yes. But I have
Okay.
no idea what I said.
No, 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 just wait. And that was you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. And you remember that feeling?
No.
Oh, you don't? You forgot it? Or
I
it
guess
wasn't there?
so. I don't
Which?
know. I
What,
don't
what
know.
do you mean you don't know?
I don't know which it is. I don't know.
You
That's what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
which it is. Now, just so you know, Tiffany, I'm just going to tell you what's going on. The ego has got you running, forgetting something that's like my brown eyes. Imagine the ego convincing you your eyes aren't brown.
Mm-hmm.
What's that sound like, Tiffany?
I understand. It sounds crazy.
Wonderful. What you're telling me is crazy.
Yes.
Okay? What you're telling me is completely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You had it. I heard you. So were you lying then, just to fit in?
No, I don't know.
No, I don't know, or no. Which is it?
Well, I was gonna say I don't think so,
Yeah, but
but
never mind thinking. We're not talking about thinking here. I want to know. I just want to know. Do you remember saying that?
yes.
Were you lying?
No.
Thank you. Okay. So it did happen.
Yes.
And it was you that it happened to.
Yes.
Okay. And it was the other day.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're this far ahead, right?
Yeah.
So you agree that you're telling the truth now.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't
You're not
recall.
lying. You're not lying to the whole group so you could fit in.
Right. No, I don't know.
So it is true that you had it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was you that experienced it,
Yeah.
but you can't remember what it felt like.
Yeah. I can't recall that. The
Did you say
bliss.
I can or I can't?
I cannot.
Huh. How I'm curious as to how you're blocking that.
I am too.
Yeah, like are you Like, what's the best thing about not recalling it?
None of it.
No, no.
For
What's the best thing right now of you not recalling that state?
hmm.
I trust everybody is learning something from this.
I really don't know.
What don't you know, Tiffany?
I don't know why I keep letting the ego run me, and I can't
Okay,
integrate it
okay,
into
now
it.
okay, now that's different. Okay. So you don't know why you're letting the ego control you.
Right.
Okay. So it's not about accessing the state, it's about letting the ego control you.
Well, I feel like if I could access the state, then I would be in control.
Oh, and what would that be like, Tiffany?
That's all I want. I just want to be able to access that state.
Well, you did
And
access that state. You're letting
yeah,
the
and
ego stop you from accessing the state.
yeah,
So why would you do that?
it's all I've ever known. It's scary, I think.
Oh, oh, what's scary?
Like going into the lights and like just staying there.
Oh, that's scary.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Okay, let
I
me.
guess.
I'm just gonna try to recall what you're saying to make sure I know what you're saying, so I can use the same language. You're terrified of going into your light. That's why you're giving the ego the power over you to not be in your light.
Right.
Huh? Congratulations. Is that what you wanted when you got on this call to begin with? Whenever that was, a week, a month ago, or whenever?
Um, is that what I wanted for? No. Wait,
Oh, it
I've
wasn't.
already
What? Yeah, what?
I say it again?
Is that what you wanted, was for the ego to have more power over you?
Oh yeah, no, 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 no. No.
Do you like do you like all the time growing up, did you like being controlled by others?
No way.
Oh, you didn't like that?
No. That's one of my biggest wounds.
Oh, you still have a wound of some sort?
Yeah, plenty. Yeah.
Oh, now I'd like to have the recording recalled of what you said when you were finished.
Yeah, me too. Because I
Yeah,
can't
you have
remember.
no idea. You can't remember any of that.
Mm-mm.
You can't. Is that what you just
No,
said? You can't.
yeah, I
What?
have no idea. I have no idea. It's a
Huh.
blur, all of it.
Okay. But all the negativity of the ego is not a blur.
No, because that's what I'm familiar with.
Oh, familiar, like a shitty diaper used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're sitting in a shitty diaper and you're staying there because it's familiar.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I'm
No,
just
wait, no. There's a part of you that does, or you wouldn't be doing it. It's that simple.
yeah, I agree.
Thank you. So, like Gilbert's saying, ego makes excuses to prevent reaching towards the light. So that's what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst thing about being in your light, Tiffany?
Um, it's I mean, probably my family.
Yeah, probably your family. And what is it about your family, Tiffany?
I feel like maybe, I mean, specifically my husband and my kids. I divorced my other family a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um, I well, I don't want. I guess it's a couple of things.
Tell me what the
I
two things are.
I don't want to be alone in doing it.
Okay. Now wait. Now
And
just
then
wait. Time. Well, if I remember correctly, and I'm not sure totally, but I think there was like 86 or 83 others on the call having the same transformation as you.
I know, but they're not my husband.
Oh, no. You said, I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Now, which is it? I want to be alone, or I don't want to, what about my husband?
I guess I don't want to. I don't want to
You
like
know,
navigate too far away from him.
because what'll happen? What are you afraid will happen?
Um, you know, I I know what answer I would say, but I honestly feel like that wouldn't happen. He's like the most divine person I know.
And that's how ridiculous what you're doing here is, Tiffany. He didn't even leave you when you had your affair. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
And now you're telling me that you're scared he's going to leave you if you're in your light. Like, could you give me a sense of how ridiculous this sounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just abandonment issues, I guess.
Oh, abandonment issues. Now, okay,
Yep.
you guess or it is?
No, it is.
Okay, good. Just to be clear. Okay.
Hmm.
Did you have abandonment issues when you were finished the other night of your transformation?
No.
Okay, where'd they go?
I my my light outshined them.
Oh, your light outshined them. And they were gone.
Well, I
Wait,
thought
no.
so.
Yeah. No, never mind that I thought stuff. Okay. Were they gone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Was that you that happened to?
Yes.
And it was that you that did that for you?
Yep.
Okay. So you're the one that has all the power. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And all you're doing is I'm shutting off all my power so that my husband doesn't abandon me, even though he didn't abandon me when I had my affair.
Yeah.
That he's the most divine person I've ever met. Am I correct?
Yes.
Now, tell me how logical that is, Tiffany.
It's not at all.
Oh, wonderful. So would you be okay with stop blinding yourself from being in your light so that your fear of being abandoned doesn't take you out of your light?
I
That
would
you
love
used to
to.
have, that you didn't have when you finished the transformation. Because am I correct? Was the fear of abandonment there when you finished your transformation?
No.
Where to go?
I don't know.
No, yeah. Where did it go?
It just disappeared.
Oh, huh, wow, is that right? And who made it disappear?
I did.
And who brought it back, Tiffany?
I did.
And who blinded you from not seeing your light?
The ego.
Yeah, I'm glad you got the right words. The ego, not my ego, the ego. The ego. So you see, you automatically gave it the power when you created the illusion that your husband was going to leave you. That's a big illusion. Like there was nothing real about that.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Not one thing. And you made it so strong that you couldn't even find it.
Right.
That was you that did all of that.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yep.
Okay.
I understand this intellectually like 1,000%.
You what intellectually 1,000%?
I understand.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay. So now it's decision time. Do you have children?
Yes.
How many?
3.
Are they leaving you?
No.
How come?
They love me.
But your husband doesn't.
No, yeah, no, he
Now you're getting me confused. What is it? Yes or no?
no, they all love me.
Oh, they all love you. Let me see. Okay, you've got 3 children and a husband. And they all love you. And you're afraid they're all going to abandon you if you're in your light for them to see how beautiful you are.
Well, I feel like my husband could abandon me, but I feel like I'm going to abandon my children, which makes that's the part with my kids is I I get into my light so much to where I don't
Yeah.
want to do the things that they want to do because it's not in my light, and now I'm abandoning them.
Or
That's
you're
my fear there.
Okay. So what's the chances, Tiffany, now that we're talking a little bit about it and you know what it is now, what
Mhm.
you're doing, what's the chances of that happening? All your 3 children are going to abandon you and your husband.
0%.
0. Okay. Now, and you are listening to that ego telling you you're going to be abandoned by all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And you're believing that.
Yep.
So you have green hair, correct?
I Did you say I have green hair?
Yeah, green.
No.
It's not green?
Nope.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that was green.
Yeah, nope.
We got a picture. So you don't have green hair.
No.
There's nothing I could say to convince you you have green hair.
No.
Huh. And how rock solid is that conviction?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Huh. But yet, your husband that stayed with you when you had your affair and the 3 children that you love are going to leave you if you're in your light. Am I correct, is what you're saying?
Intellectually, I know that that is not true at all, but in my
Wonderful.
body,
Let's go. Wait, time. How be we leave the emotional bucket of toxicity and step into the knowing, the intellect.
okay.
Now, you've just turned your back on the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're standing here in your intellect, knowing the truth.
Yep.
What's this feel like?
It feels like safe and secure, and I'm doing it myself without any external.
Yeah. Did I do it?
No,
Did anyone else do it on the call?
no.
You did it.
Yeah.
Do you like the ego chasing you to the point of dying?
No, I do not like it.
You like it having control over you, Tiffany?
No.
How long do you want to give the ego control over you, Tiffany?
No more.
No more, as in like now, no more? Or
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, no more? Or what?
No, like from this second on,
Okay.
no more.
Now, do you remember how powerful your decision was to be in your light?
Yes.
And do you remember being in your light after you made that decision?
What, today or on the call?
No, when you made the decision.
Yes.
Yes. You knew the feeling, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you knew how you accessed it.
Yes.
Okay. And would you like to have that power back, or would you like to give the power back to the ego?
No, I want the power.
Okay. And you know how you got it?
Well, it does help with you asking these questions and getting to the root of it.
Yeah. What's the root
Just reminding me, I guess,
of what?
that I am powerful and I can do this myself.
Yeah. And if that's the case, what's the chances of your 3 children? What ages are they?
20, 19, and 14.
What's the chances of your 20-year young, your 19-year young, and your 14-year young leaving you because you're too bright?
No, they would never.
Oh, they would never. Okay, not good. So we got 3/4 already. And your husband not leaving you after having an affair, what's the chance of him leaving you because you're in your light?
He would also never.
Okay, so you got 4 nevers out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the ego's telling you all 4 are quite possible.
Well, I think the ego's just using them as the people now that I care about, but in my body there's an abandonment from my parents.
Okay,
So I
so
know that it's not my
okay,
husband.
no, just wait. No, just wait. Okay. Did you have the abandonment to your parents when you were done with your transformation?
No.
It was gone.
Yes.
And who brought it back?
The ego.
No, you did. You brought it back. The ego convinced you to bring it back.
Okay.
Okay. Like the ego doesn't have any power. It only has the power you give it. And so you gave it the power that you created this illusion that your husband and your 3 children, you said that at one time in our conversation tonight, would all leave you. And yet none of that's true.
Yeah.
So you have green hair.
Yeah, I understand. Like
No,
1,000%.
and you have green hair.
No.
You don't have green hair.
Mm-mm.
Now, what if there's 16 on the call, 15 counting you? Okay.
We have her
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what's the chances of those 15 telling you you have green hair and you believe in it? And then
0%.
abandoning you. What's that?
Yeah, 0%.
0%. So it's 0% for all of those on the call here with you. 0% for your husband. 0% for your 20-year young. 0% for your 19-year young, and 0% for your 14-year young. Am I correct?
Yes.
So are you finished then creating this illusion, Tiffany, for the ego to get you out of your light?
Yeah, I want to be.
Okay. So do you want to see how quickly this can get done?
Sure.
Okay. So zip all the way back to your first abandonment with your mom and dad.
Okay.
Tell me when you're here, like this first shock.
I mean, I can remember it, but I'm not feeling the shock.
That's right, because you cleaned it up. It's not there. You're creating it. It's not even real.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to let go of because it's not there.
Yeah. I felt the shock before the other call, the process that we did the other day. But I don't feel the shock right now.
No, because it's not there, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Huh. So what's going on then?
I don't know.
Okay, so do you have access to this magnificence of who you are in your life?
Yes.
Okay, and you can feel it.
Yes, I can feel it a lot of the time.
No,
But
no,
when I
and you can feel it right now?
yes.
Wonderful. And it was you that did that, or was that me?
No, it was me.
Oh, it was you. Okay. And would it be okay to keep this, Tiffany?
Yes.
And would it be okay to abandon that phobia to abandonment?
Yeah.
When would you like to do that?
Right now.
Okay, so turn around, face your light with the abandonment behind you.
Okay.
What's this feel like?
It feels scary.
What's scary?
Like the unknown, I guess.
Oh, the unknown. Okay. So then it was on abandonment. Now it's unknown.
I'm just being honest.
And that's wonderful. That's the beautiful thing about this conversation, Tiffany. You are being honest. So the ego is going to use fear of the unknown, fear of the unfamiliar, and fear of the uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
What if you use this for each of your 3 children? How many kids would you have?
Wait, say it again.
What if you used this strategy about having your 3 children? That you were afraid of the unknown, you're afraid of the unfamiliar, and you're afraid of the uncertainty if you had your first child.
Oh, right. I wouldn't have any.
And then your second child.
Right. Yep.
And then your third child.
Yeah.
And would you get married?
No.
Huh. So you wouldn't have anything.
No. Yeah. No.
Huh. And the ego's got you convinced to have the phobia of abandonment so you don't lose who you are.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be, Tiffany? Now that you know how ridiculous this is, that none of it's true, none of it's true, it's all an illusion that you created. You created. No one else did. None of it's real. So would you like to turn around from all of that ego energy and face your magnificence? The magnificence that I saw on the call the night we were finished.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so do it. Okay. Just one
Heather,
sec.
it's so
glad you guys did this together. Like, awesome.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big doing this together. Seriously. Tiffany? So, Tiffany,
Yes.
still feel unsafe and unsecure?
No.
Wow. How different is this?
I feel like I'm in a whole new universe.
You are in a whole new universe.
But it's very strange because I'm at my son's basketball game now, so there's so many people, but it's just a blur. Just loving it.
Way to go,
That's
bro.
you, right?
Thank
This
you
is
so
you.
much.
Marianne. Got it?
Yes,
Marina,
sir.
whatever, I don't
Right.
know how. So there you go, Tiffany. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so
Was that you? Was that you, or was that someone that got their hair colored?
it was me.
Oh, and you were the one that was saying all those words.
Yeah.
You
And
weren't
I'm
lying.
that way. No.
You weren't
and
lying to me to fit in with the rest of the group.
No.
It was the truth.
Yes.
And it was you telling the truth.
Yes.
How would you like to be fully embraced with this magnificence of who you truly are?
Yeah,
And
I,
not
w-
make the decision to not abandon you anymore.
I want that more than anything.
Huh. So what's this feel like right now? Now you're in your head.
Yeah,
What's
I
it-
am.
Yeah,
Because
what's it feel? Never, no, I'm not interested in because. What's this feel like right now?
it feels great.
Wonderful. You deserve it. Do you deserve this beautiful feeling
Oh,
of you
yes.
being your magnificence?
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah.
Does your husband deserve this?
Absolutely.
How about your 20-year young?
Yeah, all three kids.
All three.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So what's the decision, Tiffany?
I'm gonna stay here.
Wonderful. What color are your eyes again?
Brown.
They're brown. Have they ever not been brown?
No.
Do you realize that this state you're in, you've never not been it? All you had was the ego convincing you to get out of it by telling you
Yeah.
lies. And you agreed.
Yep. Yep, I know that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so has the ego got power over you?
Not anymore.
No, it doesn't. It never did. You just gave it to it.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Yes.
So, how long do you want to give the ego power to tell you bullshit lies?
I don't want to give it any more power ever.
Again.
Yeah, ever again.
So, how bright is your light right now? Knowing who you truly are.
Mm. Pretty bright, 85%.
Okay. Well, if you got to 85, you might as well go to 100.
Yeah.
Why would you give it 15% chance of getting back in the door?
It's
Why would you
just,
do that, Tiffany? What?
I don't know. It's my intellect.
Tiffany,
I
no,
wish I could
stop, no. Is it going to be 100 or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
When?
right now.
Okay, perfect. Is this done yet?
Yeah, it's done.
Wonderful. How long did that take?
1 second.
Who has the power?
I do.
How long do you want to give it all back to the ego for some phony exclusive traits?
I don't want to.
Okay,
I
so have you had
won't.
enough? Have you had enough of being controlled by the ego
Yeah, I have.
and creating fictitious fears?
Yes.
So how large is your heart energy right now? Tiffany, how large is your heart energy?
Big.
How big is big?
I'm trying to think of what scale to use.
Never mind thinking. What size is your heart? What?
Ineffable?
Thank you. How much worth are you?
Ineffable. Infinity.
And how invincible are you knowing that you pull yourself out of the ego grave of abandonment into your magnificent light? How powerful is that? How powerful do you have to be to do that?
Yeah, pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Ineffable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how free do you feel now that you have let go of all of the clutches of the ego? You did that.
Yeah, I feel great.
No,
Amazing.
great's not. No, great. No, great and amazing. No.
I feel free.
Oh, how free.
Ineffable. I can't explain it. Just
Yeah, you can't explain it. It's that much. Huh. Now, has anything changed since the last, like 20 minutes ago to now?
no.
Wow. So this was all there,
Yep.
and you believe the ego came and whispered in your ear to find something to go after, to take you out of your life.
Yeah.
So have you had enough of doing that?
Yes.
No more excuses.
Okay. No more.
Okay. What?
I said no more.
No more. Wonderful. So what's this feel like to be back home?
Free.
Yeah. How would you like to keep this freedom feeling and share it with your children automatically just by being in it?
Yeah. That's
And
my goal.
what?
That's
Oh,
always been my goal. And I'm
oh,
happy to be here now to really show it even more.
yeah. Because it's going to get more and more and more and more. Because that's how amazing and large and bright your heart chakra, your everything is. And it was you that was abandoning you.
Yep.
So have you made that decision not to abandon you anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a yes?
That's 100% yes.
Oh, 100% yes. I am never abandoning me again.
Yes.
And blaming some fictitious or real or imagined energy.
Yeah.
So you're 100% in charge.
Yes.
You're 100% in control.
Yes.
And there is no desire at this moment in time to abandon yourself.
No.
Oh, by the way, can you abandon yourself?
No.
Huh? Because you were there. You didn't get green hair when you were abandoning you.
Mm-hmm.
What?
My eye color didn't change.
Your eye color didn't change. Your hair didn't change. Voice didn't change. None of that. Agreed? Agreed?
Right. Yep.
So here you are, you're back home. What's this like?
Feels great. Feels
Huh.
like home.
It is home, Tiffany. So which are you going to teach your children? To create illusionary abandonment or not good enough, non-deservings, or the magnificence of you being in your light 24/7, 365?
Yeah, the magnificence of being in our light.
No, your light. You have no control over anyone else's.
Yep.
Yep, what?
I hear you.
What do you hear?
That I don't have control over anyone else's light. It's just mine, that I'm in charge of shining bright.
And yes. So, do you want to use your power for you to be in your light?
Yes.
100%.
Yes, 100%.
24 hours a day.
Yes.
365. Yep. Have you made that decision?
Yes.
Now, listen to the ego chatter trying to tell you you can be a bit.
Yep, I hear it.
And what happens?
I just don't listen.
No. You don't listen, Tiffany. There's not anything to listen for. It's like a little mouse in the corner squeaking. Got it?
Yes.
What's this feel like, Tiffany?
Bright.
Yeah, you damn right you're bright. Who did that?
I did.
Yep, you did. So who's got control over this?
I do.
How often?
100% of the time.
Are you going to teach your kids how to feel abandoned?
No.
Are you going to show your husband how to abandon him again?
No.
Huh. What about every time you meet them, you will subconsciously recognize you sharing your beautiful bright light, your beautiful big heart to each one of them every time you meet them. What's that like?
That's beautiful.
Without doing anything. Without doing anything other than just reminding yourself that you are this beautiful, radiant, divine light. And they are going to benefit. And they will start opening their light because it will reflect to them. What's that like, Tiffany?
That's a beautiful thought. I love that.
Wonderful. Well, you can keep that if you want.
Okay, I'll keep it
Okay, starting when?
right now.
Okay, for how long?
Forever.
Did everybody hear that? Did everybody on the call hear that? Okay. That's you making that decision using your free will, Tiffany, to stay in your light and not listen to the ego with those stories that none are true. So every time it tries to do anything, you just turn your back to it, link your thumb, first finger, right hand, thumb, first finger, left, link them together like a chain link fence and say, I am. And your 100 trillion cells will line up to this knowing. Boom. That's how powerful you are. Isn't that exciting?
Yes. Yeah. I'm super excited I feel like I was missing a piece of like blissful light.
Yeah, you were, because you gave it away. Because you listened to the ego rather than your divinity. Did you get that?
Yes.
You listen to the ego instead of your divinity.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for this.
You're welcome. So when are you going to start doing this?
Right now.
Huh. How long are you going to do it for?
Forever.
Wonderful. May I suggest that you tell each of your children and your husband what you're doing?
Okay.
Tell each of them separately. This is what I'm doing. Now, I want to show you how much I love you by me having my heart wide open every time I meet you.
Okay.
Okay, what?
I can do that. I'm happy to do that.
When?
As soon as I go out there with them.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, I will be checking in to make sure you did. That's a guarantee.
Okay.
Got it?
I got it. Thank you.
Thank you for being such a wonderful demonstration for everybody.
Well,
Thank you for that.
Thank you for taking the time and for everyone else going so late on the call.
No, that's not it. This is how the ego works. And this is how you can get trapped. But you're creating the trap, just like Tiffany. And we just step out of it and turn our back to it and link our fingers and say, I am. And these 100 trillion cells will respond to the message you just sent them. Just like Tiffany just did. Got it, everyone? How clear is this? It was a wonderful demonstration, Tiffany, for everybody on the call. And for anybody that listens to this call from now on. How tricky the ego can be, but how powerless it is. It's totally powerless. It just tries to trick you to get your power. But it can't take it from you. It can't take it from you. It has to trick you to get you give it to it. So, are you going to give this to the ego, back to the ego?
No way, never.
Wonderful. And what if it's not good enough? You going to do that one?
No.
I don't belong. You going to do that one?
No, there's no reason ever.
I'm a failure.
No.
I'm bad.
No.
Okay, so you're not going to do any of them.
No.
Wonderful. So you're going to stay in your light.
Yes.
Wonderful. And if you happen to slip out, what are you going to do?
Link my fingers, turn around,
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
I am.
That's it.
And yeah.
And bask in that feeling that you now have right now. Because it will dissolve all others.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes. Thank you.
And you're welcome, Tiffany. Congratulations. Congratulations. A wonderful, wonderful example of how the ego can trick us and how we can get back. Okay? So, super congrats, Tiffany. Like,
Thank you so
seriously.
much.
Very exciting. Very
Thank you.
exciting. There's not a person that is on that call tonight that didn't learn something amazing about this, and anyone else that will ever hear this, Tiffany, thanks to you.
Oh, thank you.
And your wonderful honesty, and your wonderful willingness, and your wonderful open-mindedness. That how? Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. You had all three tonight, and that's why it worked. Got it?
Amazing. Yes, I appreciate it so much.
So thanks for sharing this with everyone. and being so open. You deserve the Medal of Honor. So the divinity of honor.
Mm. I already
So.
have it.
Great. You're not going to give it up again, right?
No.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
That was
Okay.
really awesome. Super good. I'm buzzing from that. Thank you, Tiffany. And obviously thank you, Dawn, for taking the time to do that with her. And I'm sure everybody on this call got something out of it. I know I did. Just goes to show you how tricky the ego can get if we give it the power. It's us that's giving the power away.
Yeah,
So.
it can't take it. It has to convince you of a lie to get you to give it to it.
And it was taking you on a wild goose chase there for a little bit.
Like it did to him.
Yep.
One time. Yep.
From experience. I know.
Jamie, 4 times, big ones. Yeah. So anyway, we're not immune to it, but when we know what it is, it's so easy to trick it because it's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's like a little earthworm trying to convince you that you're this or you're that. And it has no power. So, and we just tap into this, and this is our divinity. This is our divineness of who we are. And it has no power. You can just stub it with your toe. It's gone. Okay? So that's exciting. There you have it. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. That's super powerful. I know you guys have been on here. It's a little bit past when we usually go, but it was 100% worth it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually just show you guys the website so you guys can get a better visual of what that looks like. And so Will, if you can get the website up there. Perfect. Awesome. So this is the website, the new and improved website. And so right up front, we have, can you scroll back up? Right up front, we have the I Am Divinity video that we play every single call. And we don't have to play it. That's okay. As we scroll down, Will, you see that we have, some cool pictures. Go down, 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 down. We're going to edit a couple of things here and there. So it's like 99% done. So we got Don's video once again. We're probably gonna put a different video here. I'm working with David tonight. Then we have some testimonials. There we go. We got Tiffany right up front and center. We got Nua, Gilbert, we got Jamie's. And so that's the first page. There's a little bit more down there, but yeah, we got the crypto fund, the Forex fund, the affiliate. And so something I was telling Jamie is that normally the way that affiliate marketing is that you can just become an affiliate for free, but we don't want just anyone representing us. So the affiliate program comes with the membership. So once you become a member, then you can actually represent us. And so if you can scroll back up, we'll click on the Forex fund first, all the way up. I'm not sure if that's clickable yet. No, it's not yet. We'll have to get that. So we got the Forex fund, hands-free institutional trading for the everyday investor. Yeah, and there's that video that we did, Jamie explaining the Forex fund. And then we got the crypto fund. Video of Jamie as well right here. And then, yeah, just explain all the different aspects of crypto wallet, smart contracts, so on and so forth. And then we got the affiliate one-on-one with Don. Oh wait. Yeah, so we got the one-on-one with Don, and we're gonna have a new video put up right there just to make it a little bit different, talking about the one-on-one and then the affiliate plan. And so we have this video, which is me and Jamie explaining the affiliate plan, and then we have the affiliate portal up top, which is like 99% done, so it's not clickable, I don't think. Oh, actually it is. It is clickable. Do you have an account set up with? Okay, not yet. Okay. So yeah, that's already done. We're just gonna have the last little bit we're waiting on is the affiliate portal for you to sign up. What we were gonna do is just literally just export the list that we had before, but there's like 3,000 something affiliates from the previous company. So what we're gonna actually have you guys do is just we're gonna have you sign up with the person that you got started with, and then you're gonna just go into your Post Affiliate Pro account that you had and just get the list of people that you have signed up previously, and just have them re-sign up, and we'll turn off the payment so that way they can get in. Because we don't want to export everybody over. We do have the data, but we just don't want to import all those people. We just want to start fresh. So we'll just have you guys send out the link. Oh yeah, it's because Jamie was saying it's because it's only the people that have done the process or going to do the process that can actually come moving forward. So that's the criteria. But yes, it should be done here shortly. I have a call with David here in just a few minutes, so we should be done with that shortly. Like I said, as soon as everything's done, we'll be sending out an email with all the information so you guys get started. Damn, you're cute in pink. Yeah, you should have saw me in the black. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Joel. Will's at home working. It's his birthday, so he chose to work from home today. But yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 p.m. Philippines time, 10 a.m. Eastern. All the love from us to you. We'll see you tomorrow. Jamie says go 49ers, but I don't even know anything about football. Don says KC. I say Team Divinity.